Donald Trump launched a brutal mocking attack on Barack Obama in front of a stunned live national audience. Donald Trump sneered at Barack Obama's legacy and called him the weakest, most pathetic leader America had ever seen. But Barack Obama stood up with ice-cold calm, dismantled Donald Trump's bluster with surgical precision, and then dropped a bombshell that would destroy the Trump family forever. Donald Trump and the Trump family had been the ultimate symbol of success in America for nearly 20 years. Donald Trump was the loud and powerful patriarch. The cameras loved the Trumps. Whenever Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump stepped onto the red carpet, flashes exploded like fireworks. Donald Trump walked tall in the middle, chest out, flashing that big, confident grin he was famous for. On his right stood Melania Trump, elegant and poised in designer gowns that hugged her figure perfectly. On his left stood Ivanka Trump, young, glowing, and full of ambition. Ivanka Trump's smile was bright enough to light up the whole room. They looked unstoppable. Magazines put the Trump family on covers every few months. TV shows called them the ultimate American power family. For years, people could not get enough of Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump. To millions of Americans, they were the dream, rich, united, and winning at life. The kind of family people whispered about and secretly wished they could be. But even in those perfect pictures of Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump, something felt slightly off if you looked close enough. Ivanka Trump's smile sometimes did not reach her eyes. Melania Trump's gaze would drift away during interviews, and Donald Trump, for all his loud confidence, would occasionally clench his jaw when certain questions came up. Most people brushed it off. After all, every family has its moments, right? Then there was that strange period when Ivanka Trump was 24 at the peak of her modeling career. Ivanka Trump suddenly disappeared from the public eye for months. No runway shows, no magazine shoots, no appearances. The official story from the Trump family was simple. Ivanka Trump wanted a break from the spotlight to focus on herself. People bought it, or at least they acted like they did. Around the same time, Melania Trump showed up holding a baby boy named Barron. Melania Trump smiled proudly for the cameras, cradling him like any new mom would. The timing felt convenient to some, but nobody dared ask too many questions. The family image of Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump stayed shiny. The Trumps kept smiling, kept waving, and kept winning in the eyes of the public. Behind the scenes, though, the whispers about Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump never really stopped. They just got quieter. Staff who worked inside their homes saw things they were not supposed to see. Strange silences at family dinners, closed doors, and raised voices late at night involving Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump. But those stories never made it far. Anyone who tried to talk usually found themselves shut out fast. One night at a big charity gala in New York, an old reporter who had covered the Trump family for years decided to push his luck. As Donald Trump shook hands with donors, the reporter stepped forward with his microphone. Mr. Trump, quick question about Ivanka Trump back in 2006. She vanished from the spotlight for almost 6 months. Any comment on what was really going on during that time? The room went dead quiet for a split second. Donald Trump's smile tightened. Before Donald Trump could answer, 2 security guys in dark suits moved in smoothly, blocking the reporter's path. One of them put a firm hand on his shoulder. That's enough questions for tonight, the guard said in a low voice. Move along. The reporter was escorted away before Donald Trump even had to speak. The music kept playing, the cameras kept flashing, and just like that, the perfect image of the Trump family stayed intact. Even the strongest families like the Trumps have secrets that start to leak out over time. A few former staff members who once worked inside the Trump world began speaking up quietly. A longtime butler who had been with Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump for over a decade showed old schedule logs to a trusted friend. Those logs showed Ivanka Trump missing from New York for nearly 5 straight months back when she was 24. No public events, no travel records that matched her usual busy life. At the same time, a private doctor who treated the Trump family slipped a copy of medical notes to someone outside the circle. The dates lined up perfectly with a hidden birth that was never announced. Ivanka Trump's former personal assistant also held on to emails and messages from that period. In them, Ivanka Trump sounded stressed and exhausted, asking for complete privacy and refusing all photo requests. These people did not go public right away. They were scared, but the documents were real, and they were starting to move through quiet channels. One night, behind closed doors at their private residence, the tension finally boiled over for Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump. Ivanka Trump stood in the middle of the living room, face flushed with anger and tears. Donald Trump sat in his big chair, staring at her hard. Melania Trump stood nearby, arms crossed, looking cold and distant. "I can't keep doing this," Ivanka Trump said, her voice shaking. "Every time I look at him, I feel like I'm lying to the whole world. He's my son, not hers. How long are we supposed to pretend?" Donald Trump leaned forward, his face turning red. "You listen to me right now. Family first. That's how we survive. You made a mistake and we fixed it the only way we could. If this gets out, everything we built collapses. Everything." Melania Trump cut in sharply, her accent thicker with emotion. "You agreed to this, Ivanka Trump. We all did. Don't act like you're the only one carrying pain. We protected you. Now you protect the family." The argument between Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump grew louder. Ivanka Trump slammed her hand on the table. "Protected me? You made me disappear while I was pregnant. You took my baby and handed him to Melania Trump like it was some business deal. I lost everything those months." Donald Trump stood up slowly, pointing a finger at her. His voice dropped low, but the threat was clear. "You will keep your mouth shut. This is bigger than your feelings. One word from you, and I swear you'll lose more than you can imagine. Family first means we take care of our own, but only if you stay loyal." Ivanka Trump stared at Donald Trump, breathing hard. For a second, it looked like she might explode. Instead, Ivanka Trump turned and walked out of the room, slamming the door behind her. A few days later, Ivanka Trump met her closest friend from her modeling days at a quiet cafe in Manhattan. Ivanka Trump looked broken. After 20 minutes of small talk, Ivanka Trump finally cracked. "I need to tell you something," Ivanka Trump whispered, eyes wet. "Barron, he's not who everyone thinks he is. He's actually..." Before Ivanka Trump could finish, her phone rang. It was Donald Trump. Ivanka Trump answered, and her face went pale as she listened. Ivanka Trump hung up without saying another word to her friend, grabbed her bag, and left in a hurry. The moment was gone. The evening of March 2026 at 8 p.m. Eastern Time brought everything to a head. The grand ballroom at the Washington Hilton in Washington, D.C. was packed with over 800 guests, journalists, and political figures. Bright lights beat down on the stage as Donald Trump stepped up to the podium during his second term. Donald Trump looked fired up, chest puffed out, ready for battle. The crowd cheered when Donald Trump started speaking about his achievements and how he was fixing the country. For the first few minutes, it was the usual Donald Trump show, bold claims and sharp jabs. Then Donald Trump locked eyes on Barack Obama sitting in the front row, and the mood in the room shifted fast. Donald Trump said, "Barack Obama, you were the weakest leader this country ever had. Weak on the economy, weak on borders, weak on everything. You let everyone walk all over us. I'm the one who actually got things done." The audience gasped. Some clapped, others shifted uncomfortably in their seats. Donald Trump kept going, throwing punch after punch at Barack Obama's record. Donald Trump's face grew redder with every sentence, but Barack Obama just sat there completely calm, hands folded in his lap, watching Donald Trump with steady eyes. Barack Obama did not look angry. Barack Obama did not even look surprised. When Donald Trump finally paused for breath, Barack Obama stood up slowly and walked toward the stage. The room went quiet. Barack Obama adjusted the microphone with a small smile and spoke in that smooth, measured voice everyone remembered. "Strength is not measured by how loud you shout, Donald Trump. Sometimes the loudest voices are trying hardest to hide the truth." Donald Trump smirked and tried to cut in right away. "You don't know what you're talking about." But Barack Obama kept going without raising his voice, steady as ever. Barack Obama's eyes stayed locked on Donald Trump. Real leadership is about what you do when no one's watching. It's about honesty. And speaking of honesty, maybe we should talk about your own family, Donald Trump. The shift hit like a slap. The crowd leaned forward. Donald Trump's smile froze on his face. Barack Obama did not stop. Barack Obama started laying out the timeline everyone thought was buried. Ivanka Trump's sudden disappearance at 24, the quiet months away from cameras, and then Melania Trump suddenly appearing with baby Barron like nothing had happened. Donald Trump gripped the podium tighter. Donald Trump tried to interrupt again, louder this time. That's ridiculous. You're making up stories, Barack Obama. Barack Obama simply paused for a second, then continued at the same calm pace, never rushing. Barack Obama's eyes stayed locked on Donald Trump. The more Barack Obama spoke, the more Donald Trump started to fidget. Donald Trump shifted his weight from one foot to the other. Donald Trump's usual confident swagger began to crack. Sweat glistened on Donald Trump's forehead under the hot lights. Barack Obama took a slow breath and looked straight into the main camera. For years, the American people have been shown a picture of the perfect Trump family with Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump. But pictures can hide the truth. Let's talk about what really happened back in 2006. Barack Obama clicked the remote in his hand. Big screens behind him lit up with clear timelines and old photographs. Ivanka Trump was 24 years old at the peak of her modeling career. She was everywhere, magazine covers, runway shows, public events. Then suddenly Ivanka Trump disappeared for nearly 6 months. No explanations that made sense. The family said Ivanka Trump wanted private time, but the truth is much different. The audience leaned forward. Barack Obama continued pointing at the dates on the screen. During those months, Ivanka Trump was pregnant. Ivanka Trump gave birth in a private hospital under a fake name to avoid any attention. Medical records confirmed the delivery date, and just a few weeks later, Melania Trump stepped in front of the cameras holding a baby boy named Barron, smiling like a proud new mother. More photos appeared, side-by-side shots of Ivanka Trump before and after the disappearance. Ivanka Trump's face looked fuller. Ivanka Trump's body changed in ways that could not be hidden. Hospital documents flashed up next, showing signatures and private admission notes. People in the crowd started whispering loudly. Some gasped. A few even stood up in shock. Barack Obama paused for a second to let it sink in, then delivered the line that hit like a hammer. The woman the world calls Barron's mother never gave birth to him. The real mother was standing right beside her the whole time, Ivanka Trump. The room erupted in noise. Reporters were typing furiously. Donald Trump's face turned deep red. But Barack Obama was not done. Barack Obama raised his hand and said, "To make this clear, I want to bring forward someone who was actually in the room that night." A large screen on the stage came to life with a live video call. A woman in her late 50s appeared. She looked nervous but spoke clearly. Her name was Carla Ruiz, and she introduced herself as the head nurse who handled Ivanka Trump's delivery. "I was there the entire night," Carla said, her voice steady. Ivanka Trump was in a lot of pain, both physical and emotional. Ivanka Trump kept crying and saying she did not want to give the baby away. Ivanka Trump begged her father, Donald Trump, who was in the room, to let her keep him. Ivanka Trump was panicking, saying she was not ready for this secret. When the baby was born, Ivanka Trump held him for only a few minutes before they took him. I have never forgotten how broken she looked. It was not a normal birth. It was a carefully planned cover-up. Donald Trump completely lost it after Barack Obama's revelation. Donald Trump's face turned purple with rage as he shoved his chair back and tried to storm toward the stage. "This is all lies," Donald Trump screamed. Security guards quickly stepped in, grabbing Donald Trump's arms and holding him back before he could reach Barack Obama. Donald Trump struggled against them, yelling the whole time, looking nothing like the controlled leader people knew. In the middle of the madness, Ivanka Trump slowly walked forward from the audience section. Ivanka Trump's legs were shaky, tears still running down her face. Security tried to stop Ivanka Trump at first, but stepped aside when she kept moving. Ivanka Trump reached the extra microphone set up near the stage, gripped it with both hands, and spoke with a trembling voice that cracked under the pressure. I never wanted any of this to come out, but I can't carry this lie anymore. The words hit the room like a shockwave. Millions of viewers leaned closer to their screens. Ivanka Trump wiped her eyes and continued, her voice breaking. Barron is my son. I gave birth to him. We hid it because we thought it was the only way to protect the family. But living with this secret has destroyed me inside. Donald Trump, still being held back by security, exploded again. Shut up. Don't say another word. Donald Trump roared at the top of his lungs, his voice raw and desperate. Donald Trump looked completely broken. The powerful image he had built for decades was crumbling right there on live television. Ivanka Trump looked at her father, Donald Trump, for a long second, pain all over her face, then turned back to the cameras. Barack Obama stood calmly, letting the weight of the moment settle over the stunned audience. The next 48 hours were complete madness for Donald Trump, Melania Trump, and Ivanka Trump. News channels ran the story nonstop. Social media exploded with millions of comments, memes, and angry debates. Hashtags like #TrumpFamilySecret and #BarronTruth trended worldwide. People who had defended the Trumps for years felt betrayed. Others who never liked them celebrated openly. The perfect family image the public had believed in for almost 20 years was completely destroyed. Every late night show, every morning broadcast, and every newspaper led with the same headline, The Trump Lie. Melania Trump broke her silence first. 2 days after the event, Melania Trump appeared alone in front of a small group of reporters outside their New York residence. Melania Trump's face was cold and tight, showing almost no emotion. Melania Trump read from a short, prepared statement without taking any questions. I have chosen to distance myself from Ivanka Trump after her betrayal of this family, Melania Trump said in a flat, icy voice. She made her choices long ago. I will not be part of this public circus any longer. Barron remains my son in every way that matters. That is all. Melania Trump turned and walked back inside without another word. The clip played on repeat across every network. Many saw it as the final nail in the coffin for the Trump family's united front. Donald Trump was not ready to give up. Donald Trump called an emergency press conference at Mar-a-Lago the following afternoon. Donald Trump stormed to the podium looking tired but still defiant, promising to fight back and clear his name. This is all a hoax cooked up by the radical left, Donald Trump declared, waving his hands wildly. Barack Obama is desperate to hurt me. These so-called witnesses are paid liars. My family is strong and we will. Donald Trump never got to finish. A reporter stood up in the middle of the room and interrupted him live on air. Mr. Trump, Dr. Michael Hargrove, the obstetrician who delivered Barron, has just released a full DNA test. The results confirm with 99.9% certainty that Ivanka Trump is the biological mother. The room went dead silent. Donald Trump froze at the podium, mouth open. The doctor appeared on a large screen behind the reporters and calmly explained the test results. Donald Trump tried to shout over him, but the damage was done. Donald Trump's emergency press conference had backfired completely. Donald Trump looked smaller, older, and defeated as security quickly escorted him off stage while reporters screamed more questions. Later that night, in a quiet hotel room in Manhattan, Ivanka Trump sat alone on the edge of the bed. The lights were dim. Ivanka Trump held an old photo of her holding Barron as a newborn, her finger gently tracing his tiny face. Tears rolled down Ivanka Trump's cheeks without stopping. Ivanka Trump whispered softly to herself, I'm so sorry, baby. Mommy's so sorry. For the first time in years, Ivanka Trump did not have to hide her pain. At the same time, in the Oval Office, Donald Trump sat behind the big desk with the lights low. Donald Trump looked exhausted, his face pale and aged. No staff, no family, just Donald Trump staring at the wall, completely lost in thought. The fight, the power, the image, everything Donald Trump had built seemed to be slipping away. In a final interview the next day, Barack Obama spoke with quiet strength when asked about the chaos he had started. "I did not destroy the Trump family," Barack Obama said. "They destroyed themselves the moment they chose the lie over the truth." Those words spread like wildfire. The long-hidden secret was finally out, and the Trump empire's golden facade had fallen for good. What remained was a broken family trying to figure out how to live with the truth they had fought so hard to bury. Donald Trump had spent decades building an image of strength and perfection with Melania Trump and Ivanka Trump by his side. Barack Obama had calmly exposed the cracks that had been there all along. The live event became one of the most watched moments in modern television history. Viewers could not look away as the carefully constructed world of Donald Trump collapsed in real time. Ivanka Trump's emotional breakdown, Melania Trump's cold statement, and Donald Trump's furious outbursts played on loop across every platform. The revelation about Barron shook the foundations of everything the public thought they knew about the Trump family. Barack Obama had not raised his voice once. Barack Obama had simply presented facts, timelines, documents, and a nurse's testimony. The contrast between Barack Obama's composure and Donald Trump's rage made the moment even more powerful. Security had to physically restrain Donald Trump to prevent him from reaching the stage. Ivanka Trump had finally spoken her truth after years of silence. The family that once seemed unbreakable was now fractured in the most public way possible. The aftermath continued for weeks. Investigations were called for. DNA tests were discussed everywhere. Late-night hosts replayed the clips nightly. Donald Trump issued statement after statement denying everything, but the evidence Barack Obama presented was overwhelming. Melania Trump remained distant, focusing only on her own position. Ivanka Trump stayed out of the spotlight, reportedly seeking privacy as she processed the public exposure of her deepest secret. The Trump family's carefully guarded image was gone forever. Barack Obama had come prepared. Barack Obama had the documents, the witnesses, and the calm delivery that made the truth undeniable. Donald Trump had bluster and volume, but in that ballroom, volume was not enough. The American public watched as one of the most famous families in the country faced the consequences of years of deception. The bombshell from Barack Obama had done more than embarrass Donald Trump. It had rewritten the story of the Trump family in front of the entire nation. Donald Trump tried desperately to regain control in the days following the event. Donald Trump called emergency press conferences and posted furious messages on social media, but the damage was already done. The revelation that Ivanka Trump was Barron's biological mother, hidden for years with the involvement of Donald Trump and Melania Trump, spread like wildfire. Every news outlet analyzed the timelines, the documents, and the emotional testimony from Ivanka Trump. Barack Obama had opened the door, and the public rushed through it with questions that would not stop. Ivanka Trump eventually released a short statement through her lawyers. Ivanka Trump confirmed the core facts, but asked for privacy for Barron and the rest of the family. Ivanka Trump described the years of carrying the secret as exhausting and said she hoped the truth would bring some measure of peace. Melania Trump maintained her distance, issuing only the one cold statement distancing herself from Ivanka Trump. Donald Trump continued to deny the story in public appearances, calling it a conspiracy, but his usual energy seemed diminished. The confident swagger that defined Donald Trump for decades looked forced and tired. Barack Obama addressed the nation in a calm follow-up interview. Barack Obama explained that his goal was never destruction but truth. Barack Obama said families in power have a responsibility to be honest with the public they serve. Barack Obama emphasized that leadership requires integrity, and hiding such a significant truth for political image undermines trust. The public reaction was deeply divided. Supporters of Donald Trump called it a witch hunt orchestrated by Barack Obama. Others saw it as a long overdue reckoning for a family that had presented itself as perfect while hiding painful realities. The live event became a cultural touchstone. Clips of Donald Trump's rage, Ivanka Trump's tears, and Barack Obama's calm delivery were viewed hundreds of millions of times. Analysts discussed what it meant for American politics when personal family secrets became national news. Donald Trump's approval ratings took a noticeable hit as even some longtime supporters expressed discomfort with the deception. Melania Trump largely stayed out of sight, focusing on private matters. Ivanka Trump was seen less frequently in public, reportedly spending time with Barron and trying to rebuild her life away from the spotlight. In quiet moments away from cameras, the Trump family grappled with the new reality. Donald Trump sat in his office late at night, staring at old family photos, the weight of the exposure heavy on his shoulders. Melania Trump maintained her composure, but the strain showed in private conversations. Ivanka Trump finally had the chance to speak openly with her son, though the conversation was difficult and emotional. The lie that had held the family together for so long was gone, leaving them to face the truth and its consequences. Barack Obama had changed the conversation with one carefully prepared appearance. Barack Obama showed that calm truth could be more powerful than loud bluster. Donald Trump had attacked with volume and insults, but Barack Obama responded with facts, documents, and quiet strength. The bombshell about Barron being Ivanka Trump's son shattered the illusion the Trump family had maintained for nearly 20 years. What remained was a family forced to confront its secrets in the brightest possible light. The story of that night continued to reverberate. Books were written, documentaries were planned, and conversations about power, image, and honesty dominated talk shows and social media for months. Donald Trump vowed to fight on, but the cracks in the foundation were now visible to everyone. Ivanka Trump had taken the first step toward honesty, even at great personal cost. Melania Trump had drawn her boundaries clearly, and Barack Obama had reminded the country that no one, not even the most powerful families, is above accountability when the truth finally comes out. The stunned audience that night witnessed more than a political debate. They witnessed the unraveling of a carefully constructed myth. Donald Trump's attack had backfired spectacularly. Barack Obama's calm response had exposed decades of hidden pain. The Trump family would never be seen the same way again. The bombshell had landed, and its echoes would be felt for years to come.